Have you heard of hedonic adaptation, the hedonic effect, where the amount of pleasure you get out of something actually decreases the more you get used to it? So it's as if you need a greater and greater stimulus to get the same pleasure, the same reward. And this is true for many things in life, but especially true for a lot of foods. Whereas you have a little bit of sugar and you get used to it, then you need a little bit more, and then you need a little bit more, and a little bit more. And eventually you need piles and piles on it, and you feel like it's still not enough. You're still not getting that hedonic effect, that rush almost, right? That hit in sort of addiction counseling type language. And this is why, if you were to cut out some of these things and then reintroduce them, you automatically start to feel like, oh wow, this is too sweet, or this is too salty, or this is too whatever it is. This is intense. You know, like where you are in a really loud room for a long period of time, you leave and it's like quiet, but you're still having that sensation. You were used to that level, and then when you're speaking, maybe it's not loud enough because you're not used to that level. Now, this is probably not a really good example, but it does illustrate when you get used to certain things, you need more and more to get the same result. And along the same lines, let's say when you're driving in your car, you're used to having the volume at a certain level. After some time, that just becomes the natural level, and you want to have to increase it. Now, of course, it's hopeful there's no such hearing loss or anything because of this, but the whole point is that you're getting used to it. And now, usually these occur for things where you have like a feedback reward system, right? So if we use this as an example in terms of eating, oftentimes, as we've talked about sugar, salt, all these other things, you need larger and larger stimulus, larger amounts to get the same amount of pleasure. And this is why sometimes these breaks, these 40 days, 30 days, these 90 days of not having something is helpful to reset your body. Because if you weren't, you're continually building up this adaptation where you need more and more to get the same sort of result. And I will talk in the future a little bit more about this in terms of how it affects when we have nutrition, how we can work around it, that sort of thing. But for today, just to remember, hedonic adaptation is when you become adapted to a certain level of stimulus and your body needs more to get the same sort of rush or the same sort of positive feedback that it's chasing really when you're trying to have these things. So keep this in mind, find ways to reset, find ways to help to lower the volume of what you need so that way it doesn't become some sort of like a runaway train.